I'll admit that I got behind schedule because of a few things, and it was mostly because I got sick. My voice still sounds kind of weird. So yeah. Today's topic is Ichabod Crane, referring to Disney's sort of short, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I say sort of because unlike most Disney shorts, which average around 3 to 5 minutes, this one is just over 30 minutes long. Based on a short story of the same name, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow was written in 1820 by Washington Irving, and it's one of the first pieces of popular American literature. To sum up both Irving and Disney's story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow takes place in 1790 in a New York town called Sleepy Hollow, that is apparently haunted by an infamous headless horseman that just goes around and does his headless horseman thing. I'm not really sure what all that would entail, to be perfectly honest, but I imagine that he heads up the American division of the Headless Hunt, or nearly headless Nick. The story really begins when Ichabod Crane, a scrawny and very superstitious school teacher, comes to Sleepy Hollow. He's got a thing for this girl Katrina, whose dad is super loaded, so he tries to marry her. According to the original story, she's 18. Her age isn't mentioned in the Disney short, but there's quite an emphasis on her fullness. It's a little weird, not gonna lie. But Crane's got some competition in the form of a more likable guest on prototype, Brom Bones, who also has the hots for Katrina. But Brom actually seems to like Katrina, as opposed to Ichabod, who just wants her money. Granted, Ichabod's not malicious about wanting the money, he just wants the dough. And it doesn't hurt that Katrina is hot. And then there's this party thrown by Katrina. And Brom, knowing that Crane is superstitious, decides to freak him out by telling everyone the story of the Headless Horseman. After this party, Crane actually encounters the Headless Horseman, who chases him through the woods. And what happens to him is kind of unclear. He just disappears. Brom and Katrina get married, and it's kind of implied that Brom dressed up as the Headless Horseman to scare him off. But it's also kind of implied that the Headless Horseman is real, and so the audience is left to decide for themselves. The main differences between the original story and Disney's version are Ichabod's love of food and Bing Crosby. There's a lot of imagery in this short that looks really familiar. It's not really that weird. This short did come out in 1949, right before everything kind of picked up for Disney. And Disney's no stranger to recycling animation. Scenes where Ichabod is walking and reading at the same time bear a lot of resemblance to Belle's opening, as does Crane's introductory song. Brom and Gaston have a very similar character design. The forest where Ichabod meets the Headless Horseman reminds me a lot of the forest that Maurice gets lost in. Katrina is basically a silent Cinderella, and her dress is remarkably similar to Cinderella's pink dress. When Ichabod is getting really freaked out in the woods, the quick cuts and the contrasting sounds are very reminiscent of when Rabbit gets lost in the woods in Winnie the Pooh. There's a shot from the ground where Ichabod rides on his horse towards the viewer, much like Philip does in Sleeping Beauty. All interesting things. Disney originally wanted to make this a full-length feature film, but that didn't really work out so much. So this was paired with another short that was supposed to be a full-length feature film but ultimately wasn't, The Wind in the Willows, which is why the original title is actually The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, because they were released together. Bing Crosby narrates this short, does all of the male voices, and even sings a few songs. He has a very nice voice. His voice is the embodiment of Christmas. I will actually be talking about the Headless Horseman again in a week for day 27 of this chilling challenge. Please like this video if you also think it's weird that all the women in the town really like Ichabod. Leave me a comment below about what you think of this short, and don't forget to subscribe to see the rest of this chilling challenge. And since I had never seen this short before today, I recorded my reactions. And so to close out this video, here are some highlights. The princess will see you tomorrow. That's not accurate. It was a short story. It wouldn't have had its own book.
Cover in the bosom of one of those spacious coves.
Bosom. He walks like King Candy. Ye oldie schnooker. And schnapps. Shop. No, horse, you should not drink beer. No! You let your horse drink beer? He's like, ooh, those legs. How did he get that pie?
For it behooved him to keep on good terms with his pupils.
So he could steal their lunch? Okay, yeah.
Who's the town's latest man?
Gets around like nobody can.
Okay. Ew, how long has that drumstick been in his pocket? Ichabod's like the first foodie. Ugh. What is with these women? Why do all these ladies like him?
It was inevitable that such a man as Ichabod would become an object of ridicule to Brom Bones and his gang.
Maybe because he's weird.
She was a blooming lass, plump as a partridge, ripe, melting, and rosy-cheeked.
Some very bizarre and specific words used to Scriber. She's just bossing him around just because she can.
Oh, Katrina, my sweet.
This is about to get dirty. You met her for 3 seconds. This is super weird. Ichabod is really thirsty. Like, super thirsty. It's basically what we're saying is, like, Katrina just wishes that people would openly fight over her. Whoa, that was super rude. Oh my gosh, she gave me a handkerchief. She gave me a Kleenex, yes! This girl is a player! Katrina obviously likes Brahm, and she is just cozying up to Ichabod just to make him angry. And it's working. You're about to die. This is a sad looking horse.
In all the countryside, there was nothing to equal a merrymaking at Mynheer Van Tassel's farm.
Translation, the Van Tassels throw the dopest parties. Ichabod's eating red velvet cake while he's dancing with Katrina. I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted. This is dumb. Why do all these women like Ichabod? Like, I don't get it. He just ate that entire Cornish hen in one bite. That horse gives no bothers. I haven't much cared for all of the setup, but this is cool. This horse is doing the most right now. The idiot horse is running backwards. Oh, it's not running backwards, it's just running the wrong way. It makes much more sense.